Danny J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good? What's good? What's good? So U.S. markets are closed. We know this, but crypto is not, and news keeps flowing. So yeah, every day is a do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately kind of day. And today we've actually got a lot of news that's going to be disheartening to a lot of people. Let's start with the EU to hold emergency meetings over the whole Trump tariff thing. Couple that with the Kremlin letting out a release that says that Putin was invited to his peace board or something like that. Europe is in panic mode right now. Europe is absolutely in panic mode right now because here you used to have a partner that you could rely upon economically, politically, and now that partner has ultimately turned to the other side and they don't know what to do. They're threatened with tariffs, which again, for the 50 bazillionth time, when a country introduces tariffs, they're introducing taxes on their own people. So again, another move to alienate the United States from everywhere else in the world. Don't believe me? We've alienated ourselves from the Caribbean. We've alienated ourselves in the UK. We've alienated ourselves with Russia. We've alienated ourselves with China. We're alienating ourselves with the rest of BRICS. So the United States is being positioned right now as a country of one that is alone. The idea that there's going to be some kind of a peace board and the Kremlin's invited to the peace board. The economic hit around the world is almost unconscionable. I mean, you could look at me cross-eyed if you want to, but I mean, think about the impact that that's going to have across the world. I mean, Europe is thinking about a trade bazooka that would affect every business that's in New York. It would affect everybody in the United States. Why? Because everything would go up in price immediately. Things are already going up because people are panicking. Countries, businesses, people are panicking. And it's not a small thing. It's not a small thing at all. So every day I'm keeping my nose in the news, understanding what's going on, and try to figure out what's my next move. Because the United States is alienating itself, I'm not holding any U.S. debt. Because we seem to be moving in a direction where we want to move against the rest of the world. Well, guess what? We have the most amount of debt in the world. Over $38 trillion of debt. And here we are going up against the world. It could have been us and our friends against BRICS from an economic perspective, but no, we decided to up the ante and go against everybody, not just our friends, but against our friends, against our enemies. And I want you to think about something from an economic perspective. The enemy of my friend is my friend. Or the enemy of my enemy is my enemy, rather. I mean, is my friend. Wow, it's early in the morning and I have not had my morning cappuccino. So, just don't judge. But you know what I mean. If the United States is basically unfriending Europe and our enemy is China, because I don't know about Russia, because Russia is an enemy, but not an enemy. But Trump does everything that Putin says, so I don't know. Even still, the alignment around the world is not in favor of the United States. And that's a massive economic problem. Again, we're going to introduce tariffs against everybody in Europe. And you think that move first to enter into tariffs, another tariff war with the rest of the world? The trade bazooka that the EU has is it can affect every single business across all of the EU. Every single business across all of the EU. From licenses to contracts to physical locations, to money being allowed to move out of the country, to continuing to be able to do business in a given country. That's why they call it a bazooka. It's not something they want to do, but they're having an emergency meeting to see, well, is that something we have to do? You have a NATO country threatening another NATO country for no reason. This is almost as bad as, calling for tariffs against that island where only penguins live. The economic impact from that is going to be huge. And the EU is meeting about that. An emergency meeting. And this is prior to Davos. Trump is going, I'm waiting to see how Trump is treated. I believe he's going to be alienated in every single way. He's going to walk in there like he's some kind of a big man, but you're a big man that wants to cause taxes on your people that are already suffering. And then you want Greenland for what? You want to own Greenland for what? When Denmark and Greenland have already said, well, whatever you wanted to do, you could have done. So why all the rhetoric? So again, more disruption, more self-inflicted wounds, and we're talking about relationships that are decades, relationships that are centuries old, that we're toasting marshmallows on the fire. That's the only way I can see it. Kevin Hassett withdrew from the Fed chair race, and which means it'll probably be the other Kevin. I wonder why. What's that job gonna be like? You ever stop to think about that? What kind of job are you gonna have working for a guy who thinks all of this is a good idea? Yeah, he at the last minute, he must have been told, either he was told that, hey, you're not going to get the job, so if you want to remain looking good, remove your name. That could be one way. That could be one thing. What's the next thing? The next thing could be, wow, dude, you're the emperor has no clothes. You're out of your mind with some of these moves, and I don't want to be a part of that. I do not want to be a party to that. That could be the other one. Because imagine, I mean, I can easily see how you pick someone like Powell and they do their job the way they're supposed to do their job. And then you don't like them anymore, so you want them to go. That could happen again, that he chooses somebody who gets into the role and says, okay, we're going to continue to be independent. We're not going to pay attention to that. We're not going to pay attention to that noise. Powell did. People forget that he was chosen by the current regime. People forget that. Conveniently forget that. And he got in there and he said, well, my job isn't to listen to you. My job is to do right by the American people, and that's what I'm going to do. And that's what he did to the best of his ability. That's what he's doing. Agree with him sometimes, disagree with him sometimes. That's fine. But he's doing the job as he sees fit to the best of his ability. A not so easy job, by the way. A not so easy job. So Kevin Hassett pulls out, That means the front runner, I forgot his last name, but he's another Kevin. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, but that's actually big news. A Senate Banking Committee's draft bill on blockchain faces Judiciary Committee opposition over enforcement gaps, meaning they have an issue with the verbiage in the bill that protects developers. I have an issue with that. Sometimes you develop a tool and you develop a tool for a specific purpose, and then somebody else comes along and figures out that that tool can be used for something else. So they use it for something else. And it turns out that the something else is illicit. And so you can't catch the person that did it necessarily or use it like that necessarily. So you go after the developers. For what? For what? I don't go after Microsoft because somebody used Microsoft Word to write a ransom note. That's as easy as I can put it. To me, it's just ridiculous. I can understand if your obvious usage of what you build is for illicit gain, right? It's for nefarious use. But if the onset of the product, like look at guns. Guns were made to protect people. And it's often said, guns don't kill people, people kill people. However you feel about it, unless the gun manufacturer is allowing their guns or directly selling their guns to parties that they know are doing certain things, why are you going after the gun manufacturers? There's a demand. Stop the demand. I'm not saying that gun manufacturers shouldn't be, held feet to flame, right? It's like drug manufacturers. You have drug manufacturers that know straight up that their products cause problems. And yet they let those products out there anyway. As a matter of fact, they aided in the growth of those products for those bad reasons because it made money. Okay, that's something that you should go after. But I wrote some software that lets you type a document or something like that, and then you take that document, you type a bad document, and I'm going to sue Microsoft now, or I'm going to sue Google, or I'm going to sue Apple. What? So yeah, I have an issue with saying that developers shouldn't be protected. I think to a certain extent, a developer should be protected when they're writing, building in the crypto space, so long as they're not building for that illicit reason. Prove that they're guilty. Don't just slap that guilt from another party onto them because they wrote the software. The software has the ability to do blah. I look at Tornado Cash and I'm kind of like, well, okay, you have the ability to take something and split it up into a lot of different places and have it go. When I first heard about Tornado Cash, what I immediately thought of? You ever see that movie Swordfish? Hugh Jackman, Halle Berry, who was it? John Travolta, where the program that he built was able to take money and disperse it into any number of accounts around the world that you could never trace back. Interesting. Illegal? Not really, not necessarily. What happens if I just wanted to give money away and I didn't want anybody to know where it came from? I have the bank account numbers of a whole bunch of people that, need help. And I don't want them to know where it came from. So I set up a bank account, put money in it, check the list twice like my name is Santa Claus, and disperse the funds. Illicit? Huh. Interesting. It's my money. Right? So I have an issue with this committee having an issue with protecting developers, right? Canaan Inc. faces delisting from NASDAQ. Bitcoin mining rig company, and they're facing delisting from NASDAQ. Means they're trading right now that they're going below $1. Can't have that. So you get the notice. It's not good. And I'm actually amazed that they're dipping like that. You make rigs. You make rigs, and did you lose business? Because there's a demand for the rigs for both for mining and for AI, right? So I'd like to understand that business model. It's interesting to me that they would be going down. U.S. tariff revenue surged 234% in 2025 to $264 billion. So that means that U.S. citizens, means that people in the United States, entities in the United States, paid $264 billion in additional taxes. And they might have to do it again. They might have to do it again. Does that sit well with anybody? Asking for a friend. Trove Markets faced allegations of a $10 million hype token dumping, sparking investigations, with the token dropping 60% amid transparency concerns. That's a problem. I like Hyperliquid. But I don't think that's a Hyperliquid problem. I think it's a Trove Markets problem. They're bad characters, and they're acting like one. I don't have all the information in front of me to be able to say they are one, but they're acting like one. But there are bad characters across every industry. It's hard to root them out because face value, not nefarious. But something like this kind of paints the picture, right? Sort of like Eric Adams last week and $3 million and being yanked and rug pull being said. I mean, I don't have the evidence in front of me, but it's starting to smell like it. Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin called for protocol simplification to prevent centralization and emphasizing auditability over addressing user demand. And there's one other thing. It actually protects decentralization. That's what that does. That's what he's talking about. It's a simplicity approach or something like that. I forgot the full name of it. This is what I mean by, Ethereum, the team that's, helping to build Ethereum. They just incremental. This is what we're doing, and it's going to have positive. Like they say what they're doing and the immediate impact on what they're doing and how it's going to act on the markets and all that other good stuff. And I'm just like, that's the way to do it. Right now, Charles Hoskinson is going after Brian Armstrong of Coinbase. Hosky is from Cardano, obviously, IOHK. Going after Brian Armstrong. And I'm just like, what are you doing, bro? I mean, Hosky criticized the Clarity Act, criticized the Clarity Act support, citing political challenges and Trump's crypto regulation missteps. I think that by now, anybody and everybody who's ever cut a deal with this regime should have learned from the previous iteration of the regime, in that it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, where you are. Eventually, the dog bites the hand that feeds it. Think about that. Eventually, that's what happens. As soon as you saw a coin come out, a meme coin come out from that regime, that should have been the first hint oh, this is not going to go well. This is absolutely in no way going to go well. Whatever kind of deals you have out there, whatever kind of, agreements you have across the aisle, that's going to be damaged by what that regime is doing and trying to milk money in every which way. Trump, Melania, WLFI, USD1. I think there was another one by another one of the sons. All the businesses that are connected to crypto. That should have been a hint. This is not going to bode well for what the industry is actually trying to accomplish for a bigger reason, a bigger cause. First hint. Second hint should have been his son-in-law doesn't have an official capacity with the government. Why is he traveling around trying to negotiate for the government? Because he's not negotiating for the government. He's negotiating for the businesses. Why are the businesses negotiating while the government's trying to negotiate? That should have been a huge red flag. That's the way you're going to do business. This is the guy we gave money to. That's how he's going to do business. You should be cringing right now. Whoever gave him money to do whatever they thought was going to happen should be cringing right now and thinking, how do we recover? We're going to have to make friends everywhere else. And we're going to have to be legit about it. We're not going to do what we did before. We're going to have to be above board and make a case. Because that can wind up biting us in the tail. That's what that conversation was about. Binance Australia restored direct dollar deposits via Pay ID and bank transfers after 2 years, aligning with competitors and addressing user demand, meaning users in Australia can now on and off board money more easily after a 2-year hiatus. Yep. Big move. Bitcoin fell. Bitcoin fell below the 93,434. We'll get into the numbers in a little bit, but fell below the 93,434 that I told you we need to maintain. It fell below that floor. Why did it fall below that floor? Oh, I don't know. Maybe all this new tariff talk. Oh, I don't know. The trade bazooka that the EU is considering. Straight up, we're making the wrong moves. We're absolutely making the wrong moves. MicroStrategy added 1,283 Bitcoin last week, and they've hinted that they're going to do even more than that this week. That would be interesting. That would be very interesting. So I'm trying to see, like, just where do we go from here? All this time, and nobody told me that my logo wasn't up. Really, people? I know it's a Monday. I know it's Martin Luther King Day. But somebody could have said something to me. Thank you, trader. I mean, it's a little bit late now, but okay, fine. I depend on you guys. Come on. Let me get my notes out of the way. All right. So as we know, market's closed today. So this doesn't matter. We don't need that. What we're expecting this week. These are all the things that we're expecting. I'm still trying to understand how to read all this in terms of the news and everything else. I mean, we've got a lot of dupes that are here that are not helpful. Not helpful at all. I think they should go back to the way they had it before. It was easy to read. I might just have to find a better place to see everything that's there. But this week we've got Key Bank Corp, U.S. Bank Corp, D.R. Horton, Mercantile Bank Exchange. We have a lot of banks that are reporting this week. That's a good reason to be paying attention. Yeah, we have a ton of banks reporting this week. Netflix is going to be reporting this week. Bank First, Amcon. Yeah, this is going to be a good week to be paying attention. Is there anybody else? Yeah, this is very financial heavy. So yeah, I'll be paying attention to it. I'm not really feeling banks right now. I'm not really feeling any banks. Monday, Tuesday, not much going on. Wednesday, construction numbers come out. It's a delayed report, as you can see here. Pending home sales. Okay, that's fine. Thursday, initial jobless claims, GDP information. You have the PCE reports. Those are going to be big. Friday, and notice there's no Fed speak this week. Consumer sentiment, S&P, flash U.S. services PMI, and manufacturing PMI. Those are the big numbers that will happen this week. I will be paying attention to that one. U.S. fear and the crypto fear and greed index is at 44, down from 49. We are in fear, no longer neutral. DeFi Llama, we're at $130.252 billion in total value locked. I can tell you right now, I'm expecting that number to go down. I'm absolutely expecting that number to go down. It just hasn't hit yet. The news about tariffs, the news about the emergency EU meeting, that news hasn't hit everywhere yet, so it's still not looking good. If you're looking over here, like I said, we are now, as soon as you said tariffs, everything took a nosedive. Everything took a nosedive. The same as always. You say the T word and boom. This is a self-inflicted wound. That's what you're seeing here. That's what you're seeing right there, a self-inflicted wound. And now we're traveling below. So we're moving nice and steadily, moving within that pink band that I have, and now we're below. Now we're below. Emperor has no close. Emperor has no close. So yeah, right now we're looking at all this bad stuff. I've never heard of this. Never heard of it. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I have to do some research. Maybe I'll do it a little bit later. But I'm looking at SUI, Solana, if you're into that kind of thing, XRP, ETH, BTC, BNB, XMR, Hype. Yeah, Hype is down a lot, but I'm still interested in Hype. Doge, SHIB, Link, Uniswap, ZEC, if you're into that kind of thing, HBAR. Can I make this smaller? Because this is not looking good. That looks better. There you go. So there's still a lot of opportunities that are sitting there for you. Let's look at this one. Yeah, 93,153. Telling you, these are self-inflicted wounds that shouldn't have happened. Shouldn't have happened. But they are. As soon as you say the tariff word, boom, everything explodes. Everything goes to hell. That's a no bueno situation. That's an absolutely no bueno situation. That's not what we want for Christmas. Not at all. Not at all. I mean, right now you've got Bitcoin and Ethereum down hard. Just saying. We're at 95 for Bitcoin. Do I still see opportunities? Abso-freaking-lutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Dollar cost averaging, it happens right now. No doubt. No doubt whatsoever. Let's take a look at the losers. Let's see. Celestia down 13.97%. GMB X Factor 41.75. Aster down 13.19%. GMB X Factor of 2.86. Let's see. I know a couple of people are into Lighter, down 13.16. GMB X Factor of 3.54. Gala down another 12.5%. GMB X Factor of 123.07. Yeah, no, I have no money in Gala. I made my money on Gala eons ago. And then I made a trade and lost a little bit of money, and then I was done. I was done after that. Axie Infinity down 12.29% after being up a little bit last week. 93.77 GMB X Factor. The reason why I look at these two game stocks, right, is because I think metaverse gaming is going to make a strong comeback, and that's going to make people choke. Is it going to be these guys? I don't know. But I think as a space, it's going to grow. That's what I'm putting out there. Aptos down to 11.995%. GMB X Factor of 11.45. SUI down to 11.91%. GMB X Factor of 2.43. Excuse me. Arbitrum down to 11.64%. GMB X Factor of 11.52. Ondo Finance down to 11.45%. GMB X Factor of 5.33. Punji Penguins. Everybody's down. Everybody's down double digits. except you have to go all the way down here to get to places that are on down double digits. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Because everybody's down like 9-10% for Bonk, GMB X Factor 5.31, Artificial Superintelligence Alliance, GMB X Factor 13.07, Pith Network, woof, lordy, down big, and their GMB X Factor is 19.34. Wow. Remember, GMB X Factor is based on all-time high. It's based on the all-time high. Athena down, and it's about 6.85 for GMB X Factor. Injective 10.32. Filecoin I used to be into 171.88 as a GMB X Factor. Ouch. Pendle. I know a few people are into Pendle. Down 10.27. GMB X Factor of 2.97. Pepe down 10.04, GMB X Factor 4.37. I think Pepe is something I can still play with. Dog with Hat down 9.999%, GMB X Factor of 13.18. Sandbox down 9.982, GMB X Factor of 60.54. Again, another metaverse play in the Sandbox. Stacks down 9.73% with GMB X Factor of 10.75. Nothing good going on. Nothing good. Let's take a look at this. And that's it. Monero's up 9%. GMB X Factor of 0.25. Never heard of Humanity. Never heard of River. Those are the numbers for today. Wow. Keep your nose in the news, people. Just because U.S. markets are closed doesn't mean everybody else is closed. Pay attention. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. This is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. Hope you enjoy what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, drop a like, tell your friends about this community. There's a lot going on. Become a member. Go to growmybag.tv, become a member, and enjoy the over 13,000 articles that we've dropped over the past 4 years. That's right, 4 years. We made 4 years this month. And we're still going strong. And we still have more to do. So become a member. Support us. Everybody, have a great day. I'll see you tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for The Overflow. Have a good one.